Alright guys, we're up here in the main garage. I'm going to give you an update on this my 74. This is the wife's Gen 6. It's black. I'd showed something before on it. It's a Wild Track. It's been holding up pretty good. It's a 22. Yeah, 22. And it's been pretty good rig so far. We take pretty good care of it. I added, we tinted these front windows, and then I added the little Bronco emblem. I don't know if you can see it very good. And a little shorter antenna because it goes through the car wash and stuff. And we use this particular car. It doesn't really go off-road or do anything. I put these little lights up in the front of it, and they're kind of cool. They light up and give it a little bit of a different look. You try to make these things a little unique. The more modern cars are a bit more, you look for reliability, look for ruggedness, but it's been a good car. It's got, what did I say? It's got 24,000 miles on it now. And it's done real well. Nothing's failed on it. I think a little branch coming out the one driveway knocked loose a little connector on the other side for the sensor. And then when we took it in for the oil change, they found it. I kind of thought that's what happened, because there's a little branch that skittered down the side of it, and then it threw a code. That's literally the only thing that's happened to this thing. It goes back to the dealership for oil changes because of the way it's under the program that it's under, and otherwise I'd do the oil changes on it because I don't usually let anybody touch any of my stuff. The only other thing I added to it was those running boards, because the wife, it's hard for her to get in and out. I got them off Amazon. But yeah, it's been a good rig. It's done a lot of little cool little adventures, but it doesn't do, it's a mall cruiser. It's the wife's car, and it stays about in the condition you see it here pretty much most of the time in its own spot. Now here's the old 74. I moved it up here. This is my upstairs 3-bay attached to my main house. And this particular truck, I'd done the motor swap in it for a Blueprint motor, crate motor. I did a little video on it, and I run a Sniper 2 setup. I changed this over. I got this motor back. This motor failed, and so the cam bearings went bad on not this motor, but on the other crate motor. So I went ahead and pulled it back out right before I went to Moab. I think I got some videos on that. There is some back videos on this 74. I don't want to confuse you guys, because the 66 and the 74 videos that I have, these vehicles look similar because of colors and stuff like that, and the same type of lifts and similar setups. But the because again, I have two of them, and then but I got the motor back from Blueprint. They did a good job. The guys were nice guys. They covered everything. It took 3 or 4 months time it all got sorted, and the cam bearings went bad in the other motor, and which is unusual. And I should have had a tip off, because when I would go to, I'd set the timing when it was cold, everything was good, but if I tried to set timing after it warmed up, the distributor wouldn't move. That was really weird. I'd never had that happen before. Well, that was probably a symptom of these cam bearings being either the wrong ones or out of place, and it put that distributor in a bind. Probably the gear and stuff, because it's driven off the cam. So I went ahead and this one doesn't do that. I went ahead, I put a fresh battery in it, a yellow top, which is a deep cycle battery, because I do run these winches and stuff. And the old engine that I threw back in it to get me to Moab worked, but it contaminated the O2 sensor, which I knew it would. That's why I didn't run that Sniper on it to begin with. And it caused it to pump more fuel into the motor. And so I just said, I'm going to shelve this Sniper system. I still got it. I think it's fine. It just contaminated O2 sensor, which triggers an overfuel situation in it. And I kept everything for it. And then I went to this Edelbrock Profile 4 with this one. I have that on a 66 as well. And then I relocated the regulator up here. And then, of course, there's some of the stuff that goes with it. And then there's I put the ECU for it over here, hidden behind this, and the relays and the fuse for it over here. And that drives the fuel injection setup. And then, of course, like I said, I did the battery. They had a red top in here, and it failed. It tested out bad, so I don't know what happened to it. It was only, but they did replace that under warranty. So this thing's back in shape. It's running. I'm doing the tuning on it now, getting it, letting it run, you know, where it self-tunes and stuff like that. Seems like it's good so far. It's got a lot of good power, runs real good. That Edelbrock Profo system, I really like it so far. I'm using their distributor and their setup on it, and I did away with the MSD box, which is right in that area here. Still have that and the sniper setup, and I could throw that on something else. Like I say, I'm doing that Coyote swap on that 56 Ford pickup, and it is I won't need the 327 that's in there, and that's a nice, fresh, rebuilt 327, and I won't need that, so I'll probably go ahead and put it, maybe that into a street rod. But you can kind of see the interior of this thing. I did a panel similar to what I did in the 66, because both of these had boogered up dashes. Their dashes were messed up, and where people would put roll radios and stuff in them, like you get with old cars. People play with them. And so I went ahead and made a panel rather than buy a new dash. Dashes, or these things aren't that bad. They're $400 or $500 or for a blank, and you can just cut it and do whatever you want with it anyway. So I just made panels that real quickly remove, and you can get in there and do your wiring and do all that. It's kind of works out kind of cool, and that's what's fun with these old vehicles, because you can do a lot of custom things to them. And with these, they're all metal. There's no plastic or nothing, so you can do a lot of things kind of neat with them. And then, of course, this one I have a front and rear camera. This is a boat radio that has no weather on it, and it's Bluetooth. And then, of course, the switches and stuff. Now, on that 66, this will, of course, be a big TV screen, and that screen there will be up there. And then I'll have a over here. I got a little set of buttons, extra buttons that I'm adding to that. And then because this is a 74, they moved the headlight switch there. The key's still there, and we're on the 66. That's just some holes. I don't even know what was there, because the headlight switch and the wipers are on the other side of the steering wheel on the 66, at least on the one I have. And it has a lockable glove box here for, like, if I'm out in the woods and went hiking, I could lock things in there. And then it's got a Tuffy under floor deal that I got so I can lock things in there. And then this is lockable. Well, just so happens, I don't know if you can see it over there on the four-wheeler, but that box right there I'm getting ready to take out to the garage is another one of these under seat boxes. And so it'll have that as well. It'll have a little different console, same type of style locks, and it's got a little door that locks here, little different cup holders. It'll have this glove box and this on the 66. And then I'll have the sticks set up, except that one will be a stick shift. And then running the Edelbrock ProFlow, I relocated my phone thing up here where I can see the controls, and it actually works pretty cool. And for some reason, don't ask me why, because this does not have, this thing doesn't have a sensor for the speed for the transmission, because it's an old C4 3-speed automatic. But what's really kind of crazy is the app for the Edelbrock ProFlow picks up speed. I don't know where it gets it, and it's pretty accurate. It's the same as the speedometer. I've got to go in and tie back in right here. I've got to put a diode in, because these sensors are for the computer for the ProFlow, but there's also sensors here that run the the Dakota digital dash. Well, what happens is, it's kind of weird, but when you shut it off, there was a feedback created to the ECU off of that dash that it wouldn't let the engine shut off until, it just wouldn't let the engine shut off. It was keeping the ECU alive and keeping it running. It was really weird. So I found out another guy, I guess, had that problem. I found out you had to put a diode in this little wire that goes from the tach setup and make it where it's only a one-way feed. In other words, it'll feed through to give the RPMs to that Dakota Digital Dash, and then when you shut it off, the diode acts as a shunt, a one-way gate, and it won't let it won't let that little bit of energy feed back to the ECU and keep the engine running. Really weird, but you got two different components. You have a Dakota Digital, and that also runs off a tach setup off of the negative on the coil, and then you have the tach signal for the ECU that runs off the same circuit, because they both need that, so they can tell all the components that the engine's running, what RPM it is, and what it's doing. But I don't know where it gets the speed, because it's kind of wild. I don't know if I could ever show you, but when the app comes up, there's a tach and a speedometer, and then of course, all the sensors for the maps, the heat, all that, the coolant temperature, airflow, and the air-fuel mixture. But it goes down the road and tells me how fast it's going, which is weird, because usually you have to have a speed sensor somewhere that would tell you that. And I don't think it would get it off the tach, because that measures engine revolutions, not ground speed or drive shaft speed. It's kind of cool, but it's weird. So yeah, that just kind of came out of nowhere, that benefit. But excuse me, swallowed wrong. And but yeah, so kind of an update on the 74. I'll throw this on the interwebs here, and it's back in business. It's running. It's a bit more of an overland type vehicle, where I feel the 66 is going to be a bit more off-roady than this thing will be, because the taller gears on this and the 3-speed. But it's a good old rig. They're fun. And then I had showed you guys, but I had gone in here, I guess I got a video where the bumper pulled off, and that was because there wasn't enough meat here to hold it. And I knew that, but I went ahead and beefed it all up, put in spacers. I think I'd showed you guys all that. So that's pretty rugged now. Probably could hook this thing to an I-beam or a tree or something, and probably lift the whole thing off the ground right now with that bumper. So I think we're back in business there. But yeah, so this beast is running again. I'm going to be tuning it today, playing with it a little bit, driving around, getting it settled in, because we're going to go to Bronco Super Celebration East this year. And already rented a cabin up there, and already hooking up with everybody to go up there and play again this year, and I'll film some of that. And then when I get to 66 done, it'll be in this area. And then I'm building that new garage, and then these motorcycles will go into a downstairs garage I have on this house. And then this bay will be empty, and then I'm going to be redoing the floor on this bay to the same floor material that's in the garage I have now out here, the other side of the property. And then all will be up here will be Broncos. This will just be a 3-bay with Broncos. That little cart over there, these motorcycles, will all go downstairs in another bay. And then all will be in here is just 3 Broncos, which would be kind of cool. But yeah, all right, you guys, I'll wrap this up, and hopefully this is it for the 74 for a while, and she'll be pretty, she'll provide good service for a while, and good backup, good toy, and just keep playing with it. And I don't know, I may sell it and then build a 32 highboy with that 327 I'm going to have when I get done with that 56 Ford pickup. So yeah, all right, you guys, see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.